are going to start with the panel on the AI-powered CMO, how marketing leadership is being rewritten. So just I'll set context for a couple of minutes before we jump right in. For decades, the role of the CMO was built around brand building, storytelling, customer understanding, and creative leadership. AI is fundamentally changing that equation. Today, marketing leaders are expected to understand not just customers, but also data systems, automation, predictive intelligence, personalization engines, and increasingly AI-driven decision-making itself. The first phase of AI in marketing was about automation. The second phase is about augmentation. But the third phase may fundamentally redefine what marketing leadership itself looks like. According to BCG, more than 70% of CMOs globally are expected to invest 10 plus million annually into GenAI initiatives in the next few years. So this is no longer about experimentation, it is a strategic transformation, which raises some important questions. What does leadership look like in an AI-first marketing world? What remains uniquely human? And how do brands stay differentiated when everyone has access to the same AI tools? To explore this, we have an exceptional panel of leaders here. So let's jump right in. So we will jump right in. In the first segment, we'll explore a little about AI and decision making. So what is that one marketing decision today that AI is already making faster, sharper, and more effective than humans? And where does humans still have an edge? So it's an open question for all panels, so we can start in any order.
I may start first. I feel AI is giving a right map, a completely perfect map, but humans are still the one who are deciding where to go, what to lead. I mean, is doing completely perfect qualitative analysis, but at the same time, I would still require my inputs in order to figure out what to ask the data at the first point. So what we need to get, when we need to get, what we need to target is what AI is doing completely fine. But where to go, what to answer, I mean what strategies to make, what layer to personalize is what humans still need to do good here. And also, in order to feed AI empathy, emotional intelligence, point of view, AI cannot give a point of view.
Yeah.
But I think if you are feeding your point of view, the creative intelligence there, I think the combination is working far better than just the AI part there.
So one thing which AI is already doing for us, right? AI is resetting the expectations on speed as far as marketing outcome is concerned.
Yeah.
Now, marketing has various stakeholders in the organization, and everybody is asking faster, better, cheaper.
Yeah.
Why not? Because you have AI today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that is one thing which the expectation resetting that AI has done for you. I'll not dive deep into how it has eased the production, more production better, more targeted, etc., etc. I'll not go there. I think it's par for course now. And this is what makes the times interesting.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of when all of this is happening, then where are you navigating and how? So just to kind of stay true to the questions that you were asking, one thing that AI is doing is massive reset of expectations within marketing and to the immediate stakeholders.
Yeah, yeah.
So just adding on to what my co-panelists mentioned. See, AI is very good at doing things at scale, doing things, say, faster predictions, right? But there's that risk of everyone sounding the same, right? The originality is what is very important to bring in from us, from leaders, from people in the marketing domain. The creativity, the originality cannot be taken away.
Yeah.
But it's that beautiful combination of getting data-backed, research-backed patterns, trends, behavioral trends, and then really prioritizing what consumer experience, what brand trade-offs do you want, and really sort of that like they say, right, that humans do not always think rationally. We don't always are consistent, right, in how
Yeah.
we behave. And I think that's where the context, the trust, the emotional, the cultural context are very important in how we do marketing, in how we make decisions.
Yeah, yeah. So you're saying that the data part, the research part, some of the patterns, the background work has become much more easier now.
Right.
All the data is right in front of you. But then ultimately it comes to the humans to see what is relevant and make sense
That's
out of it,
correct.
right? Shita.
So AI is working wonderfully when it comes to scale and speed. So whatever is there already, if you were to automate those things, you would the speed at which the backbone in today's world, especially when it comes to like tech-driven marketing, there two layers like data insights and personalization are way more relevant. And both of these layers, whether it's a speed of getting data insights and personalization to the scale that every user feels the things are personalized for him, can be done beautifully through AI. However, the emotional angle, like co-panelists also have mentioned, understanding the real pain point that customer has gone through, is still needs human intelligence, human um, judgment to make it even better for on what AI has already delivered.
Yeah.
So one thing I believe that media optimization is much easier
Yeah.
in the last few years, but again it's like it's been there, done that sort of a thing. The other thing which AI is helping, he rightly mentioned that setting the expectation, but followed by I'd say combining cross functionals together. So marketing cannot work in silo, product cannot work in silo, tech cannot work in silo. Apparently we are very much exposed to the data, right data, and we do understand what consumer is seeking for. And to deliver what they're seeking for, you have to shake hands with the cross-functional team. So that's what is helping us a lot. And I believe in any app-based industry, this is what is the key today.
Got it. And see, a lot of AI conversations right now, are talking about the efficiency and the automation, like, we heard from all of you panelists. But where are you actually seeing AI influence a lot more into strategic thinking, business growth, etc.? Where do you see that opportunity?
So I think AI is doing a great job, and everyone right now is thinking AI for posting faster or probably generating more creatives faster. But at the same time, the kind of strategy and growth roles that AI can take up are also enormous. Um, I will give you a few examples. Like if I am manually checking the reportings or the data, or any analyst is also doing that, the weaker signals that we miss in the data, they are very well picked up the AI right now. So on what are the next set of audience that we should target is very well laid out overnight by AI right now.
Yeah.
And also, as we were discussing before, also before the panel on our casual discussion, like predictive analysis, like predictive insights, where you are standing right now, at what point of your brand you are standing right now, where to take it next, what's the customer journey like, where your customer is more likely to drop off. We used to take like months to make that entire funnel, which was also not practically optimized if you look at the data backed analysis. But right now, AI is doing that overnight. So more than scale and efficiency, what most of the marketing teams are doing right now, I think AI can do a lot in the strategical and growth part. I will have a small example, a Moloko propaganda here. But Moloko is, for example, in order to optimize on what type of audience to show your ad, you are going to take years to analyze the data that we can do it in 14 milliseconds, like a 600 billion request in 14 milliseconds. That's even lesser than your brain can command to click a mouse. So that's the kind of strategy in order to what to show to what user at the right time is what we can't do by the data, the amount of data that we have currently, but is what AI is currently doing pretty well. So that's the strategical part that I feel AI can do that.
So look, technology, I always have believed, just pause, AI is more recent, but technology has always given the superpower to marketeers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whether it was a print We got the superpower to create pamphlets. We went to print, created advertising and all that. When electronic waves came, radio, we came up with jingles and all that, right? Yeah. And when internet happened, we went berserk. Same is the case with AI, right? AI, I think, has given us the superpower to, one, she mentioned, right, the thin gaps that you see, which AI is able to amplify, bring it up to you, which you may have missed, right? Second, which we have experimented very successfully in Birlasoft, is synthetic data, right? Now what happens is your access to your prospect is highly limited and it is highly priced. Okay? You don't get access to your prospects easily. Yet you want to pressure test your messaging, your campaigns for that audience. Okay. You don't have access to that audience, you're targeting that audience. Synthetic data from external observability or public observability cues is so, I'm not saying easy to create, but gives you nearly 80 to 85%, almost like a quasi access to that audience. Okay. To pressure test. That is the second part. Third, which I think now AI is doing, I think AI, and the word jury is still out on that, I think AI is decimating the concept of segmentation. Absolutely. You today, you had like segmentation of, I'm just making it up right now, 30 to 35-year-old male, female, metro, non-metro. Yeah. Come on, and let's say each of these has 10,000 members. AI can actually help me personalize, in 14 milliseconds can help me personalize for all those 10,000 people, yeah. Right? So the decimation of segmentation, yeah. Now whenever this happens, the decimation happens, opportunity of growth and new opportunities come out of that, right? Yeah. So that I think is another strategic growth opportunity that AI can uncover for us. Right. So those are the three things I'll mention. Yeah. Exactly.
One kind of a segmentation, right? It's a one-to-one messaging that every brand is looking at right now.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Other panelists, would you like to add?
As you mentioned that the segmentation is no longer like a mass segment of like 10 segments that define company strategy. Now it's like more like a segment with a segment size and equal to 1. Yeah. So AI, while it can deliver the segmentation and define what creatives or what actions to be taken, it has to be then combined with the business objectives, the growth levers that business has, the strengths that business has. That could make it like even powerful tool for the growth for all marketers and businesses.
Yeah, yeah. And Megha, just a question to you, because you are working in Blinkit. It is one of the fastest moving ecosystems in the country, right? Where literally you are delivering everything in 10-15 minutes. So in that kind of environment where the decision making is happening at such a fast pace, how are you leveraging AI? And how is that contributing to your strategic growth as of now?
Right. So see, I think very broadly speaking, right, what we are seeing is that AI is great at getting our data up, the processing, etc., right, on scale. It's helping us with speed in our execution, right? So we're all about speed. We're all about executing fast, right? Exactly. In this very high frequency consumer environment that we operate. AI helps us in, identifying those patterns, those trends, those behavioral patterns, personalizing experiences, like we said, right? Different segmentation, you can personalize very quickly. However, we need humans to be able to help with what do we want to optimize for, right? So AI can optimize for efficiency, but we need people to be able to define those priorities, to define, what is the brand, what is the message that we want to send across, what is the sort of sentiment, the consumer sentiment that we want to have in the market. And I think that's where a lot of human judgment, a lot of prioritization, understanding human behavior comes in, right? I think, like I also initially mentioned, right, that um, a lot of elements about, cultural context, right? So for instance, if there's a Diwali, if there's a Holi, there's only so much. And then a lot of smaller festivals, right, that we celebrate through Blinkit, right? Almost, we've got a team that looks at festivals, and it's almost every alternate day we have some festival in the country. So AI would tell you why we celebrate it, but those nuances, right, is somebody from, like, we would actually ask across the team, like, who celebrates this and what are some things
Yeah.
that, you do yesteryears, your grandparents did. So we would actually bring that out and actually, supply that to you on a Blinkit. And that's what makes the experience of shopping at Blinkit so different versus, say, the other bigger players in the market, because we actually get into deep nuances. And that a machine-led system misses out on.
Got it. Yeah.
So I think at this point it's not about us versus AI. It's more about the future lies with leaders who are able to combine AI and that learning and that speed and that execution beautifully with human judgment and clarity of intent.
Yeah, yeah. Completely agree to that. We should use AI to our advantage rather than being consumed by it. I think that is an important distinction to keep. Now, one of the discussion points which came across is that, one, everybody has access to the same AI tools right now. Every brand has, right? And when you give prompts to AI, you more or less get similar results. So in such kind of situations where everybody has the same tools and it's a fair playing field, what actually becomes a real differentiator for a brand? And as marketeers, how are you ensuring it right now?
So I think you you need to be super clear about what your brand context is. However, the brand context also needs to evolve and depends on the category that you belong to. But if your brand context doesn't change,
Yeah.
you become irrelevant. The rate of obsolescence for brands in this era would be faster.
Yeah.
So that means if you have a brand context sorted, the rate of change of brand context,
Yeah.
how will you drive that change? Who all will keep adding to that change and how, right? And it's very, very difficult to define that how my context would change over a period of time is very, very difficult, because this definition also needs to keep changing every 6 months.
Yeah.
I'll give you a small example. How long back did we hear about prompt engineering? Last 6 months, nobody has heard about prompt engineering. It's done.
Yeah.
Last year, or maybe a year before that, it was all about prompt engineering, right? Today it's all about agentic AI, tomorrow it will be something else.
Yeah.
Now, just these three, okay? Prompt engineering, agentic AI, and something else. Let's call this as something else. Now, how your brand context would change across these three, who needs to define that? You need to define that,
Yeah.
right? Now, unless you define that, you can't define the pace of change, because your brand is now getting changed by you, the
Yeah.
context is getting changed by you, by the client circumstances, because when we serve clients, that circumstances, the environment and the tech stack. So all of that is adding to that change. So how do you do that I think is the key to unlock. I would probably call this as a brand key. How do you define your brand key?
Brand key.
I think becomes paramount, because this added to your culture, your values, your voice, this alone will help you differentiate in the larger homogeneous, because everything is now, that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
You give the prompt or whatever, you get the same stuff out. So everything is homogeneous.
Yes.
Now, age-old problem, when the branding started, when we started to stamp the cattle, I've read, that is probably when the branding started. That is the age-old problem, is how do you stand out? How do you differentiate? And that has been stayed with us through last century or before that. How do you differentiate? Now, if you have your brand key, your context, your rate of change of context, how that context will change, if you have that sorted, I think you can mitigate a lot of problems. This is where I also feel that what AI can't do,
Okay.
because every AI will learn from the same data. AI will not take contra calls, contradictory calls, right?
Yeah.
When your data is telling you to do something same, it's that human instinct
That needs.
that
Yeah.
that that gives you and the guts to go against the grain. And marketing is replete with those examples where you went against the the the
Current
the
practice.
current
what is
and
it?
came
Yeah.
out with a new campaign.
Yeah.
Dove's Real Beauty campaign, I think it was in 2003 or 4 when they launched.
Yeah.
When they gave the real, rather than the, not exactly the artificial, but the perfect beauty, they came out with imperfect stuff and said that, yes, they also have the right to all the, beauty products and things like that. That was a total contra call,
Yeah.
right? Now, if you were dependent on AI LLMs who saying that, beauty definition is ABC, a human will have to come in and say, look, my brand context says that diversity is needed here. It need not be perfect beauty definition which my brand would serve. Maybe Dove was thinking like that, right?
Got it.
So those are the points that I would put on table.
Got it. Yeah.
I mean, I agree to this point. You just need the courage to go against what the data has not proved yet, and the surprisingly delightful elements that will make people feel, the people feel that the campaign is really there, like the Dove example.
Yeah. 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 Other panelists?
One very quick point, right? So it's like the same tools we've had for yesteryears, right? The MS Excels and the Words and the Google Docs, etc. But it's really how you've used it and the data behind that you put in it is actually what gives you those results. So like these are just additional tools that we have now. The working remains the same. These are just faster and better.
Yeah.
Right? But when you talk about analysis and when you talk about insights, there's always a person behind those slides or behind that sheet really telling you what is it that we do next. So I think that cannot be replaced,
Got it. Yeah.
say, by AI or I think to your question, this is how you differentiate. So I think it's like you think through AI as just an additional tool, and you got to be better at like what are you asking it and what you
Yeah.
need out of it, versus that completely sort of replacing how we work in marketing or other domains.
I have another point. I just got there. All of us grew up on the brands reading David Akers and Myers, right? David Aker is like the theoretical guru for. If you look at David Akers' writings for the last maybe 5-6 years, he's increasingly moving towards purpose-driven brand, purpose for the brand, etc.,
Yeah.
etc., right?
Yeah.
So even that side also is leaning towards that you made your brand purposeful in this era and stand out.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think that's the only thing which can work when AI is democratizing literally every other thing. But do you also think that the media agencies that we have right now and the creative agencies, they are equipped in the right way and they are completely up to speed on AI? And are we becoming over-reliant, especially when it comes to creatives, etc.?
I'll take this one. So I believe no one is completely equipped with AI today, not the brand, not the agencies. Everyone is experimenting, everyone is trying to find out what is going to work for them, in what context, because again, every brand changes their context, every brand works in a very different territory. So knowing their territory, knowing the consumer, that's always different, that's always unique in nature, okay? And be it a creative agency, be it a media agency, they all are also experimenting in different ways to understand how to optimize their efforts, how to speed up the things, how to scale up the things, and how to deliver the better results. Because consumer is also evolving with this whole
Yeah.
exposure to the AI digital ecosystem today. Consumer behaves very differently.
Yeah.
There was a time when consumer used to keep their I'd say thought in a very consistent manner. मतलब 6 महीने साल भर तक consumer used to ask for one thing, but today consumer is exposed enough, and thanks to quick commerce and your e-commerce platforms, those are giving impulse buying cues today. to consumer, and that impulse behavior is being implemented across different functions, also across different buying behavior, be it they are buying apparels, being they are buying shoes today or sneakers today, which is in trend. So multiple things are happening again because of the context is changing. So I believe, be it agency, be it brand, everyone is experimenting, and I believe we are going to optimize our efforts and use it in a very finest way as we can.
Anyone would like to add on to this? Yeah. So one thing which I want to ask is, historically CMOs were expected to understand the consumers' culture, storytelling, etc., as you guys were saying, right? So going forward, will understanding and technology and becoming, and as we were discussing even before the panel, right, changing from more of a CMO to a growth architect role. Is that how the CMO role is going to change?
I wrote, this was very interesting question, and I wrote 2-3 points on this one, right? There are few things that in the advent of AI and access of technology, Aishwarya mentioned very well, the expectations are changed, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you would make a grocery list, thanks to Blinkit, is gone, right?
Yeah.
You need it now, right? So the expectations have changed on that side. Technology stack has changed. I mentioned earlier that my stakeholders are asking for, because of AI, things faster, better, cheaper, right? Now, let's look at the marketing organization and how the CMO leadership would change because of that. Earlier, there was something known as path to mastery. You started as a marketing executive, became a brand executive, became a brand manager, product manager, so on. And there were various paths to CMO.
Yes. Yeah.
There was path to mastery, through experiences. And that got collapsed. But now that has got totally decimated. Path to mastery is totally changed, right? And thanks to AI. So that's point number one. Point number two, and this is a bit of a provocative question. Because of AI, are we dulling the human aspect? That vividness of creativity I mentioned about contra calls, etc.
Yeah.
Is it going away because every kid is going to be using, the chat GPTs and the clouds and the Canva AIs of the world for creative? Is the human aspect getting dulled?
Yeah.
Right? Third, the production part is no longer a differentiator. It is commodity. It's actually even lower than commodity, if you would say, right?
Yeah.
So earlier, the masterpiece is taking time to evolve. Some folks still understand it, but soon that will become a norm that, it's needed now, right? And then, the envisioning, the erosion of your identity and choice, because most of the choice, in any case, internet was making for you.
Yeah.
You want to eat something, you scroll on Zomato. If Zomato gives X ratings and it's in top 5, you go there or go there. You are not making the decision. Please understand, it is that aggregator or that algorithm that is making the decision for you. Add to it the identity part, if that is eroded. Now, if you look at all four,
Yeah.
what kind of leadership you want? Point is that it is the vehicle. Do you want to hand over the steering or not? Right? That is one. Or you just want to hand over the accelerator? Do you want to be the navigator and the driver? Engine power is the tech stack. These are very difficult decisions. Now,
Yes.
if you add, I mentioned the identity, right? The DPDP Act, the trust part, the guardrails to that, it's so damn difficult, right?
Yeah.
I see sometimes on some of the social media platforms, there is this CR part that is written, which tells you that it has been created by AI. So how do you do that? Then earlier as CMO, my job was to train or cross-train my colleagues. Now I have to train agents also. Then I have to train my people. Are they training the agents rightly or
In
not?
the right way.
Right?
Yeah.
Because this was, I was mentioning this earlier in the room, that there is this half line of error code, let's say, right? Because we are working with algorithms and codes. Half line of error here, in the next iteration, another half line, and before you know, the complete code is erroneous. Can you afford that? That means you have to monitor the training also.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the training happening right or not? Now, how will you do that? That all is coming to the CMO
Yeah.
to enable that. And like it or not, today CMO is minimum 15 or 18 years old in WorkX, right?
Yes.
He or she has not seen that. How would they do? How would they land that? That is a puzzle that is unsolved, but again makes the environment easy. I really don't know whether I've answered or I've read more questions
I think
onto
there
that,
are
but
more
this
questions which I would
Right.
like our other panelists to opine on because all of you have been in marketing for a very long time. So how has your role evolved, and with AI and with the advent of AI and AI being used for everything, how has your role changed, or has it changed?
Yes, it has changed a lot. Okay, which I rightly mentioned previously. There was a playbook, there was a master playbook which anyone has to follow. But today, uh, while the consumer behavior is changing, we have to also adapt what is happening around us. There was a time marketer used to create one campaign. They used to run that campaign for years. Okay,
Yeah.
but now the shelf life of one campaign is maximum 6 months today. You have to refresh your whole communication. You have to come with a new narrative or a follow-up
Yeah.
narratives out there. And then again, the marketer has to delve into data today. Okay, need to understand where business is moving. Need to
Yes.
understand where my product is moving. If you cannot sync everything as a marketer, then maybe you're working in a silo, you are living in some fantasy world and some Disneyland, and you want to create some good creatives with Ogilvy, which will not help you out as a business, correct? Because end of the day, whatever you are doing, and brand has to act as a leading indicator.
Yeah.
Brand team, marketing team has to act as a leading indicator. Apparently, everyone focus on unaided awareness. We like it or not, we want to move our numbers in unaided awareness, in top
Yeah.
of mind recall, in top box consideration. But apart from that, is the trial moving, is the adoption moving, is numbers are moving or not? So being visible to that and having the visibility of each and every data is what marketer has to do now.
Yeah.
And has to understand and wear the hat of product team, tech team, business team, to understand what kind of struggles they are facing or challenges they are facing, and solve through communication, through different means, whatever
Yeah.
we do own as a you can say territory manager or as a cohort manager. So that's something has changed and evolved a lot.
So marketing has always been called as a combination of art and science.
Yeah.
So earlier, while the focus, if I go a decade back, probably like people will focus more towards the art part, because science, you get limited insights and you tend to create towards that. Now the shift has begun from more towards science. Now,
Science.
like understanding of data, understanding of consumer needs to the very granularity, what exactly like this particular customer is looking for, to the scale of millions of customers, and making it available to that customer is where the marketing work goes. And to make that happen, a marketer has to be not just a like person who knows art. He has to be someone who can have an interaction with a data scientist. He should be someone who can have a meaningful discussion with a product person, who can actually put forward like the technical requirements, so
Yeah.
that the system is enabled for them to make a meaningful impact. So the marketer, like you rightly said, it's not just marketing now, it's evolving from marketing to growth. And to drive growth, all functions need to come together to drive that growth.
Yeah, yeah. Because marketing is evolving more into a role and growth role, and it is becoming more and more cross-functional, as you are all rightly mentioning. So, in this kind of a situation, how has the leadership strategy changed? If you can elaborate a little bit on that, from a teaming perspective, and how are you managing? And a lot of things, the buck stops with you, right? As a CMO, you are the brand custodian. So how are you ensuring that, given that a lot of things have changed?
I'll be quick. Three things, right? One is, I think with my teams, we are doing a lot of experimentation, and we are accepting the failures, right?
Yeah.
That is the one enablement that we are doing. We are also trying to put more guardrails around it for a responsible behavior. We're trying to learn that we don't know. Seriously, we don't know. So we're trying to put up some amount of, responsible behavior. And third is a lot of curiosity and learning. I'm at least in my team, I'm putting a lot of value on that. Our biggest learning came from one of the summer interns that we hired for a 2-month project. If there is a AI transformation in Billas of Marketing, it's thanks to that summer intern.
Yeah. But are you all also ensuring that there are structured learning programs within the organization now that everybody is getting up to speed? Is that something which all of us are doing structurally now?
Absolutely, that goes without saying.
Yeah, yeah. And just, question to all the panelists. In one sentence, in an AI-first world, what is that one quality that all the great marketing leaders must never lose as we are progressing towards more technology?
I think it is going to be the taste and vision to make people feel what they haven't felt in a very long time and what data can't predict. And also to not be afraid of technology, but to adapt it to become all-rounders.
One word, curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah.
For me, cultural context is very important. So marketing will always be done in a context, like if it's India, and in India also has like so many microcosms everywhere, right?
Yes.
So even though we do buzz marketing, right, and you'd see those hoardings and very interesting, but I think that context keeps changing, and I think we need to change accordingly, and that's something that marketers and the team can do better than a machine learning system.
Like having that instinct on understanding what is the consumer pain point and what consumer pain points are meaningful enough to solve for. Otherwise, without having that and data automation in place, it's just like a surveillance. So from not having surveillance to actually making some meaningful impact in customers' lives is where the marketer role has evolved.
Yeah.
So the right balance between art plus science and maybe marrying brand truth with human truth.
Got it. Yeah. I think we got a lot of insights from our exciting panel today. I would also like to open up if there are any questions from the audience. Yeah.
Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Ratan, and I am an independent consultant. Fantastic insights into marketing leadership with AI. I had just one simple question for the panel. I wanted to know from you, in the future of decision making, do you think AI is going to play a major role, especially agentic, specifically around decision making?
May I?
Yeah.
Look, AI will definitely try to do that. But somewhere, human mind, if you go back centuries, is all about survival and relevance, right? Sooner than later, we will know that this is only a technological tool. I can't let it overgrow me, right? So the decision making probably would not. Insights, the judgment, I think will stay with us. We will definitely become more open to faster decision making. Our adaptability to handle more data points would go up, right? I mean, if you notice the difference between a youngster and the grandparent today is, look, I can't operate this cell phone. Come on, I mean, that guy definitely operated more technology in his time. But just the ability to handle so many decision making is difficult for that generation versus this generation. We will become more adept at that. But decision making, I don't think so would go away to AI. Decisions would become faster. The expectation from the folks around us that why did you not consult this with AI before taking this up, those questions will definitely become more, right? It's just like today, if you were to take a trip somewhere, you will naturally check the traffic jam. You have access to that. You will check the weather report if you're taking a outstation or another country. So nobody will today forgive you to not have anticipated traffic jam. Come on, you have the access to the maps, right? So similarly, the expectation would go up, but decision making would stay with us. That is my thinking. 100%. 100%.
One question. Similar strategy, everyone will use the AI tool is there.
Yeah.
Common tool for every brand or for every sector, you can say.
I will take the second one first, and maybe fellow colleagues can join in. Look, this problem was there even before AI. The commonality of resources, and so it's the same channel, sports channel, it's the same cricket match that is available to everybody, yet brands will have to differentiate one motorcycle versus other, one t-shirt versus other, or one ghee, vanaspati ghee versus other. So they would then root themselves in what the brand stands for, what the culture stuff is, all that. If you look at the endorsements, it's the same Virat Kohli, it's the same heroine, right? But the way they get endorsed or the way brands use them, same cricketer, or let's say, cricketing legend, right? One cricketing legend versus other, same available, but brands do take time to differentiate, because it's not about brands, it's not about the market, it's about the consumer. Ultimately, when your narrative, on your message and your outcome, if you goal it for the consumer, this thinking will naturally come in that I have to differentiate. Now, once you do that, how do you do that? Now, do I have a way to tell you right now that, all four of us should use Chat GPT differently? I don't have a way right now. Each one of us will find ways to use Chat GPT, Claude, Canva differently, so that our message, our outcome looks different and is relevant for the consumer.
Just last line, allow me to say. The brand need trust.
Yes.
Like Blinkit and MMT. I have the trust.
Yes.
If I go to MMT, I will have a good leisure pleasure trip. So if I go for Blinkit, I will have a quality product within 10 minutes or so. The trust is very important. Instead of brand, the trust, we have to build the trust. That is important for as a customer. Thank you.
So I think trust is a component of the, very important component of the brand. Without trust and credibility, brand cannot be built.
To add on, so while there is access to the common tools, every brand has a different journey and the kind of customers they have along with that journey, whether it be call it as a cultural context or the relevance. And then there is some data which is proprietary to that particular brand only. So for instance, I am a regular Zomato customer, so Zomato knows whether I am a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, what time of food time I ordered in, what days I order in, whether I prefer a protein-rich food or I want something which suits the taste buds. So all those nuances or the understanding is there with Zomato only. Tomorrow, if a new brand comes in, no matter how much intelligence they can build in, they won't have access to the data that lies only with the Zomato. So the differentiator that Zomato has with the customer data and the proprietary intelligence would definitely come to help.
I think we'll take the rest of the questions offline. Thank you, speakers and Nathira, for this amazing conversation.